actually. It is the end of the day. And the guy that I went on a date with, his brother went home this morning. He was a bit frisky last night. And he asked me, well, first he said, next time, no touching. Let's get to know each other, which was nice. And he doesn't say sex, he says intimacy. And we talked about our likes and dislikes. I mean, I think that's important. And his turn on for me is my butt and my thick thighs. I just can't stand that phrase, thick thighs or thick. Oh, I like a thick woman. And I'm like, he didn't say that. He said, I love your curves and I love your thick thighs. And it bothers me. And big, thick, same thing, right? Sorry, my nose is itchy. So, but it's constantly like, your toys. Now, I don't know about other people, but to me, playing with toys by myself doesn't do it. I'm just not into it. I don't know why. Never was. All my friends are like, you don't have toys? I'm like, oh, and you went like 6 years without no sex or almost no sex and no toys? No, I didn't discover toys till after my divorce, number one. Number two, when I did and I tried them on my own, no. And the one thing I only bought one toy, and that was the vaginal balls, which I think I talked about previous. But I mean, even outfits he's talking about. Like, he loves fishnet stockings and, lace. So, I don't have a lot of outfits. I have a really nice, nightgown that's like lace on the boobs and satin, below. I have a red one that has a little bit of lace and then red. Probably more information than you wanted to know, but like I said, I talk about anything and everything. I do have, actually still from my bridal shower, these white short things that are very short with lace and a top, and they have it's white with little pink hearts. And I honestly, I don't know who gave them to me. I think everyone in my bridal party did. My stepsister gave me this, which I don't even think I have it anymore. I think I gave, because I never wore it. The ex wasn't into it. Red panties with lace, and on top it was feathers and lace. And she's like, with something else she gave me, but she's like, oh, I put the receipt in there. It was just as a joke, and I never took it back. I thought maybe I'd wear it. Silly me. Wasn't into that. So I have worn the black thing. It's almost like a slip, I guess, but it's sexy. Underneath a dress. The red one underneath a dress. I did buy from Victoria's Secret this sleeveless satin black top with, what's a set, and black shorts, satin, and they do have, the shorts have a little pink trim on them. I don't know why the top doesn't, but the shorts do. And they're short, but they're not, they're comfy. I've worn them to bed. Like, I got into like Victoria's Secret bras. Like, I have a lot of lacy bras. I even have a pink lace one that has rhinestones. I might have even told you this before. Apologize if I do. I have cheeksters. I don't like G-strings. But surprisingly, like yesterday, I wore leggings to work and a long top that covered my butt and no panties. Didn't see the need. And my old boss is like, oh, if it has that like cotton crotch thing, they're meant to be worn without underwear. And that's with working out. I tried working out without underwear on, and no, does not work for me. Sweating down there, the juice is going, and no, that does not work for me. I do have what I call my granny panties. I bought a pack, I think 8, all white underwear. And I do have some all white from Victoria's Secret, cotton. And that's my granny panties. So, I just feel working out, you need like white underwear. And in that little crotch thing, it's no matter what color your workout pants are, that little triangle thing is white. So that's why I just feel like a dark color that dyes with your sweating and getting all up in your junk there. Guys have junk. We have, as I say, hoochie coos. And although my son and I were debating, had a discussion. Now my kids, it was girl or boy, my son, my daughter, that, make sure you clean your pee-pee really good, and no one touches your pee-pee. And, when they started, going to school and stuff, you remember, no one touches your pee-pee, no one touches your private parts. And my son is like, it should be called a penis and a vagina, because I think I said this. There was a story where a little girl said, my uncle licked my cookie. My uncle kept licking my cookie or something. Something about licking the uncle and licking her cookie. And then when the mother, and they had conferences or something at school, and she said, something about her cookie, and the teacher went, whoa, the light bulb went off. And she put 2 and 2 together, the uncle's, abusing her. So I don't believe you should call it a cookie or, whatever, but nothing wrong with the pee-pee, like, in my opinion anyway. Not in my son's. He thinks it should be vagina and penis. Although in school they're not allowed to say that. So I don't know. I don't, like, whole other generation. But to get back to I have trouble buying like lingerie, whatever, if it's one piece, because the girls, they're huge, triple D's. So even when, like, I was on weight loss, and they measured me once a month, and they're like, oh, you lost in your hips, you lost in your thighs, you lost in your waist. She goes, goody for you, you haven't lost in your chest. No, not goody for me, because I was happy with my D's. If I got down to a double D, because I'm a triple D, probably an F, So if I was down to a double D, I would be thrilled. So, but to get back to the whole toys thing and things, I mean, there are certain positions, like, I'm not totally against the back door, but I have issues with my stomach or whatever, and I have to be in the mood, and it's not very often I am, but if I was with someone that enjoyed it, and every once in a while, I'm like, fine. So, very once in a while, very few and far between. And I know some people are like, oh no. But then again, you don't know. And he asked me, he was asking me all these questions, golden showers. And this one guy wanted me to, and I just couldn't. Stage fright. I wouldn't want it on me, I don't think. I don't know. It just... And then he said threesome, and he's like, it's a fantasy, but I don't think I could ever go through with it. And I was like, me either. I think I've stated this before. If a girl's brought in, and then you're like, okay, you see more into her than me. If a guy's brought in, I mean, oh, fuck. Sorry. Pothole. They're doing construction on this road, and it's, so a guy, and then if like they're, and I'm like, if they start touching, whatever, and I'm like, okay, is he into him more than me? So we both agree, fantasy, probably would never go through with it, never happen. Different positions. I like trying different positions. And I don't mind doggy style. I don't mind, I love to be on top. I don't know. So, I am a person that will try different positions. There's one that, this one guy, he called it the twister. And it was like my one leg was under my other leg, and then he was his leg went over my leg, and it just, to me, it wasn't comfortable, but he thought it was the greatest position. And that did not last long with him. It's like, oh, the twister, ooh, the twister, ooh, I invented the twister. I don't think you invented it, dude. But, go ahead, dude. Is this guy gonna go? Okay, this guy's going, so I'm going. I hate four-way stops. I wish they had, like, a light. Well, at least a blinking light. Especially this time of day, but it's getting dark, people. You're seeing less and less of me. Because it's getting darker earlier and earlier. But, I don't think he invented this. But it's not a comfortable position, and that's the only position he liked. Are you kidding me? Wasn't into oral at all. And so this guy asked me, he's like, I was like, oh, hell yeah. And I know some women and some friends are, oh my God, it was like, go down there for like a minute, and then, and I'm like, oh boy, he can be down there all freaking day for all I care. That, And I don't mind giving a blowjob. Some are like, ugh, I have to have a couple drinks. I have, whatever. And toys. I had a guy, and I think he just couldn't get it up, used this vibrator on me. Oh my God, heaven. So I didn't tell him that. I just said, oh, I think I would like, that, if you, he goes, really? Yeah. So we agreed, though. We're like, even though we're talking about it, we're going to keep ourselves. And he's like, oh, I don't think you can control yourself. And I was like, oh, that's a challenge. You're challenging me? Okay. I love a challenge. Or I love when someone tells me I can't do something. So you're telling me I can't control myself? I will be controlling myself because you just said I can't. Sorry, needed a sip of water. So yeah. So yeah. So that's, you know, I never had to use lube. I'm blessed with that. And he was like, oh, you know, when we actually do, make sure we have lube. But I was like, you can make sure you have it, but I've never needed it. And the guy, the twister guy, I would have a problem getting wet for him. And he turned me on in so many other ways, but as soon as like, ooh, the twister, by the third time I was like, oh, God, no. And I think that was it. I didn't enjoy it, so I just couldn't. And it was weird for me. Oh, excuse me. It was weird for me. I was like, oh, and so, you know, he had lube, so he's like, oh, wow. I thought you didn't need lube. And I'm like, oh, you know, as we get older, it's been a while, which it was. And this guy asked me, I think a little insecure, I don't know, or just doesn't know, like, how to take it. But he's like, oh, you really kiss passionately. Oh my God, that was amazing. And he said, did you kiss me like that just because you haven't been with anybody in a long while? And I'm like, no. I was like, I had opportunities. There was guys I met and went in for it. I'm like, no, I'll hug them. And no, because I wasn't into them. I really didn't feel like kissing them. So he's like, oh, okay, I'm just wondering. So, a little insecure, I think. But he keeps asking about friend with benefits, man. And I told him at one point I did, but he thought it was friends with benefits, but it was way more than that. We went to dinner. We went away for weekends. So I said to him, that's more than a friend with benefits. When, oh, let's go get a movie, let's go get dinner, and then have sex. Like, friend with benefits is like, hey, come over, you know, I'm in need, and you just have sex. That's it. When you start getting, you know, like you're dating, that's when I'm like, okay, this is turning into more, which I wish it would have, but it didn't. And he was happy calling it friends with benefits and the way things were. And which I think because, you know, didn't hear from him for a couple days here, a couple days there, you know, but he would always like, is everything okay? Or, you know, when my mom was dying, he's like, oh, you know, and I just had to, like, I'm like, can we meet for dinner? I really just, I need to say goodbye, and I want to do it in person. And of course, saying goodbye led to, you know, goodbye sex, which, you know, was amazing. But, and it was a time when I needed it because, you know, like I said, my mom was dying, and that was February of 2019, and my mother died at the end of March. So it's really getting dark now. Although, I don't know. So I don't think I'd like anal ball beads. He asked me about them. No, don't think so. Because like I said, not a fan. Whatever. Like I said, a vibrator. Ugh. That would be amazing. But him, by myself, no. And he said, oh, maybe, you know, no, it does not do a damn thing for me. I'm sorry. it doesn't. I have no desire to, and it's kind of a turn off for me. So sorry, like not happening. And he said, oh, what about, if he's masturbating and, then I masturbate and I use it. I'm like, no, it's not happening. You can, you want to use it? Fine. And you want to masturbate while you're using it on me? Fine. But, so, might go out again this Saturday. And again, he's like, no touching, no whatever. At the end of the night, we'll kiss goodnight and that's it. Little kiss goodnight, little make out, but that's it. So it's like, okay, which was, we explored a little bit, we didn't have sex, but we made out, hands roaming and stuff. And so that was nice. And normally wouldn't do that on a first date. But I told him, I said, I felt very comfortable. And I said, I really wasn't expecting to be as attracted to you as I was. And that was honest, open and honest about that. So, that's just the way I feel. Frank, we made out. The first time we met and really made out. But it was the second night. If he would have said, let's get in your car, Frank, I probably would have. Steven, too, I was very attracted to him because we had a lot in common and so much in common, and we talked about so much, and that was very attractive to me. But I think in the beginning he was trying to prove he could get over his ex-girlfriend, and that's why he was so into it. And once he, I think, felt he didn't have to prove that to himself, I moved on. But he hadn't really, because he went back to her and kind of used me, but that's okay. He was not into sex. Oh my God, after a while. It was so hot and heavy, and then after a while, it's like, oh, he'd stay over, and he was like, oh, good night. And I'm like, really? And he's like, oh, we don't have to do it all every night. I'm like, okay, maybe not you, but why are you staying over? Why are you, not to be offensive, because we did have a nice night, date night, whatever, but hello. And we didn't see each other every day. So it's like, if you're staying over, dude, why'd you say, oh, stay over? Because you're too tired to drive home? I don't know. If he said that, I'm just too tired for anything, but I'm going to stay over. I'm just too tired. Okay. But, oh, you want to go to bed? I'm going to say, okay. That's a signal. Oh, my thing is on here. I'm like, what is on my jacket? The reflection from the thing holding my phone. But, yeah, so, sex. Have you ever had sex on a first date and then we're in a long-term relationship with somebody? There was a couple guys. I haven't been with a lot of men, but there was actually one guy that I was just like, oh God, I don't ever want to see this guy again. But huge, thick, and huge. Oh my God. He just whipped it out. We were making out, and I was like, holy crap, he's busting out of his pants. And except he was a little weird, because he wanted me on top, fine, sex was great, and then I was done. I came so many times, and then I was like, oh, and he goes, no, you're not getting off yet, I'll tell you. Oh my God. So done with that. And then he's like, oh, tomorrow night, he was like, oh, he goes, you're mine now. And it's just a little weird. Just very weird. He was just like, oh, I want to see. Oh, my God. You're my princess. Oh, my God. My queen. And he's like, oh, that was so amazing. And the beginning was, but when you just wanted me to, like, sit on your dick now, and you just wanted to hold me, you know, me to lay on you and hold, like, with your dick inside me, like, no. Like, let's take a break, and I was willing to continue once we took a break, but, you know, I was out of breath and everything, and I don't know. So, he was just very weird, because he reached out to me after that, and he's like, where have you been? I've missed my queen. Oh, you need to come back to me. And I was like, oh, dear God. Never married. Hey, never engaged. And he was the youngest. He had 3 older sisters, and he was the youngest. There was a gap, and I think he was pretty much babied. And, you know, I don't know. It's just weird. He was just weird. I just couldn't deal with it. And like I said, I had sex because I was like, I said to my friend, and she goes, you didn't have sex, JJ? You didn't, you know, make out, like, you didn't give him a blowjob or anything? And I was like, oh my God. I was like, it was amazing at first. And listen, it's been a while. I was like, oh boy. I go, but I'm never seeing him again. That's why I did it. And she's like, okay, good for you. So I know people that had sex on their first date and stayed in a relationship, got married, still together. Works for some people. I just felt like at this stage of my game, like they were younger, but this stage of my game, my age, if I'm to have sex with someone on the first date, that's all they might want. So, oh, there was another guy, and that's a guy, like, we continued to, and it was great until I was like, hey, what about me? Like, he always wanted a blowjob. And he's like, I'm like, hey, what about me? Oh, I don't do that. Oh, I don't like going down on a woman. No. I go, well, I ain't going down on you. Sorry. And he wasn't too happy about that. And then, you know, it was a couple days. We were, oh, why don't you come over? I went, oh, no. I go, all you're getting is sex, dude. Any which way position, but you don't want to give. You ain't getting. I'm sorry. My mother, something you don't want to hear from your mother, she was dating this guy, and he was like, oh, he's not making any moves, and I don't want to hear this, mother. And she goes, then I was talking to the bartender at AMVET, and she said, well, you know, maybe he just isn't, you know, maybe he needs a pill or whatever, maybe he can't take a pill. There's other things. And my mother goes, oh, well, I give as good as I can get. I give as good as I get. Oh my God. It's true. I feel that way. Not as good as I get. Like, you know, one time, you know, might be more about him, another time more about me. But I was like, oh my God. I don't want to hear that from my mother. Just don't. Just don't. I really don't. It's something, but my mother was very open. She's like, oh, come on, you're an adult. I know I'm an adult. Still don't want to hear it about your mother. Don't want to hear your sex life. Don't want to hear your antics. Nope, 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 nope. So, all right, well, I'm home. I'm sure my doggy wants to walk because I'm a little later than I normally am. About 20 minutes later. I was doing stuff at work. All right, so I will talk to y'all later. Bye.